100 million euros are about to change the course of Real Madrid. And a big name might have its days numbered at the Bernabeu. Meanwhile, the most expensive and most feared duo in world football still hasn't clicked. And as if that weren't enough, a young talent who was supposed to be the future of the team is already starting the season out. And it doesn't stop there. An important veteran might not even set foot on the field at the start of the league, and a potential shocking swap could send a Brazilian straight to the Premier League. But hold on. Don't leave the video just yet, because I'm going to tell you everything detail by detail. Before dropping the full bombshell, if you're a true Madridista and live and breathe the club like we do, click the subscribe button and turn on notifications, because here the information comes straight and with passion. Let's start by talking about our golden duo, the explosive Brazilian and the killer Frenchman. One is worth over 150 million, the other cost nearly 250 million euros.
On paper?
Enough to strike fear into any defense in Europe. But on the pitch, the story is different. According to the renowned Spanish newspaper Marca, the two stars played together in 47 matches last season.
47.
But do you know how many times they both scored in the same match?
Only 8. 8 times.
A number that, for a team like Real Madrid, is downright alarming. And check out this stat. Since March 9th in the game against Rayo Vallecano, the two haven't scored together in any match. 13 straight games sharing the pitch and 0 collective impact. The ball gets there, chances come up, but they don't connect.
They don't look for each other. They don't understand each other.
And it's not just about scoring goals. It's the lack of chemistry. It's the classic every man for himself. On one hand, Vinicius does try. He's already provided 5 assists for his teammate.
But the Frenchman?
Only 2 assists to the Brazilian during the entire season. 2 goal passes in 47 games. That's way below expectations, especially considering they're the offensive pillars of a galactic rebuild project. These numbers aren't just cold stats. They reveal a worrying reality. Real Madrid didn't build this duo for shy statistics. Real wants attacking intimidation, lethal speed, thrashings, automatic chemistry. They want impact, they want protagonism. They want what Cristiano Ronaldo and Benzema delivered for years, deadly connection. And what we're seeing so far looks more like a tug of war than an offensive partnership. And this is where Xabi Alonso comes in. The new coach has a massive mission ahead. Make these two football beasts truly play together. Not just share the field, but function as a duo, like a synchronized engine. It's a tactical challenge, but also one of egos, mentality, leadership. There's no point in having 2 rockets if they don't launch in the same direction. Real Madrid needs more than isolated talent. It needs cooperation, collective instinct, plays thought out as a duo, not just individual brilliance. Because, with all due respect, if we want to watch players shine alone, we go on YouTube. This is the Bernabeu. This is serious business. It's trophies on the shelf or total failure. The fans are starting to wonder, will this duo actually work? Or are we witnessing 2 stars who, no matter how brilliant they are, simply have no chemistry? And here comes the hard truth. Individual talent, they've got plenty. That's not up for debate. But Real Madrid isn't a showcase for flashy plays. It's about lifting trophies. It's about the Champions League. It's about making history. And if this Mbappe plus Vini Jr. machine doesn't run flawlessly, the dream of a historic season could turn into a horror movie right in the middle of the Bernabeu. So, fan, do you think this duo will explode this season, or is there a missing piece that's stopping this puzzle from fitting together? Comment down below, will Vinicius plus Mbappe work out, or is it all just hype? I want to hear your opinion. And now hold on, one of the most beloved players by the fans might be packing his bags, and the destination? Nothing less than the Premier League. A real shock for anyone who watched this guy shine on epic Champions League nights wearing the Real Madrid jersey. According to the Spanish portal Defensa Central, Real Madrid has reportedly given the green light for a shocking deal with Arsenal. A direct swap between Rodrigo and William Saliba, the French defender who has been standing out in the Gunners' backline. Yes, fan, you heard that right. Rodrigo goes, the hero of so many comebacks, could be on his way out of Santiago Bernabeu. And why? Because, according to internal club sources, Xabi Alonso no longer sees the Brazilian as a key piece in the squad. That's right. Despite all the fans' affection and his big moments in decisive games, Rodrigo has become a tradable asset in the new merengue era. The coach wants to strengthen the defense, and Florentino Perez doesn't want to waste time. He sees Saliba as a pillar for the next 10 years of the club. But the saga doesn't end there. If the deal with Saliba doesn't go through, Plan B is Ibrahima Konate from Liverpool. In other words, Real Madrid is fully focused on reinforcing the backline, even if that means letting go of an established attacker. But wait, there's more. Arsenal is also reportedly considering another type of deal, according to British newspaper The Times. The idea would be to take Rodrigo on loan with an obligation to buy in 2026, a model that appeals to the English financially, but depends on Florentino's approval, who prefers a direct sale. And there's one more explosive ingredient in this story: Liverpool. Yes, the Reds are also monitoring the situation and have even been pointed out as Rodrigo's own preferred destination. According to sources close to the player, he has already instructed his agents to inform the English club's board about his interest in wearing the red shirt of Anfield. A possible reunion with Alisson, a Brazilian national team vibe, and maybe a chance to be a protagonist again. But hold on, because even Paris Saint-Germain has entered the picture. According to journalist Fabrizio Romano, if PSG loses Bradley Barcola to another European giant, Rodrigo becomes the immediate target for the French club as an emergency plan. They want someone ready, with a strong name and already tested at the top European level. And who fits better than the number 11 of Madrid? However, so far, none of the proposals have turned into formal negotiations with Real Madrid. Everything is still at an early stage, with behind-the-scenes talks, inquiries, approaches, and preparation of offers. Now, the key point of it all: the value of the deal. Real Madrid has already made it clear that they won't let Rodrigo go for less than 80 million euros. But ideally, they want to reach around 100 million. And honestly, even with the player's recent lack of use, that price isn't absurd, since he's still young, has Champions League experience, plays in multiple attacking positions, and has a good reputation in the market. The question that remains is it worth selling him now? Because while he's no longer a priority in the starting lineup, he's still a reliable, versatile player with a winning track record who can be very useful in a long season full of competitions and unexpected injuries. Now let's talk about a promising youngster who arrived as the new phenomenon of Brazilian football, surrounded by hype, with a label of future star stamped on his forehead, but who's already starting the season in the worst possible scenario: OFF the pitch. And not by technical choice, but due to a complicated and tricky injury. The kid, who was supposed to be living the peak of excitement at the beginning of his journey with the heaviest shirt in the world, will end up missing the first 3 official games of the season. According to the newspaper AS, Endrick is still recovering from a tendon injury that's been bothering him since May. That's right, since the end of last season he had already been feeling it, and now with the new coaching staff, he hasn't even been able to train with the group. And what does that mean in practice? That he'll miss the matches against Osasuna, Real Oviedo, and Mallorca. 3 extremely important games for someone who wants to prove himself and earn a spot in the squad right away.
But he won't be there.
He'll watch everything from the bench.
Or worse, from the stands.
And the timing of this injury couldn't be worse, folks. While Endrick is recovering, Gonzalo Garcia, the young academy striker, is skyrocketing and has already won over Xabi Alonso. And more, the new coach has been very clear about his ideas. He wants a system with only 2 natural forwards. And guess who already owns those spots? Mbappe and Vinicius Jr. In other words, even if Rodrigo stays, Endrick is already behind him and Gonzalo in the pecking order. He, who was supposed to be the new merengue prodigy, is seeing the doors close before he even officially steps onto the field. And the question is inevitable: how do you compete for a spot in this scenario? He's got the talent, the name, the marketing, but he doesn't have rhythm, doesn't have minutes, and is still far from his ideal physical condition. And at Real Madrid, that matters. Here, the line moves. Here, there's no time to wait for anyone. And even with all of that going against him, Endrick refuses to leave. According to AS sources, the player has completely ruled out any possibility of going out on loan, even if it meant getting more playing time at another club.
He wants to stay.
He wants to fight for his spot. He wants to prove he can be a protagonist at the biggest club in the world. But the truth is, he's going to have to push hard. He'll have to get back in shape, earn the coach's trust, show what he's got in the few minutes he gets, and still hope that someone ahead of him gives an opening. A tough mission, almost ungrateful, but that's how real stars are forged. And as if an injury issue weren't enough, there's another important player going through a rough patch in the squad: Ferland Mendy. The French left-back, who used to be a guaranteed starter, is now more out than in when it comes to the position battle. And the worst part, he might not even be available for the La Liga debut against Osasuna on August 19th. According to journalist Marco Ruiz, also from AS, Mendy is still recovering from the surgery he had in April. He's working behind the scenes, trying to regain physical fitness and return to group training, but time is ticking, and the season opener is coming. Even if he recovers in time, the outlook isn't promising. Fran Garcia and Alvaro Carreras were the big standouts of the preseason and are clearly ahead in the race for the left-back spot. They're younger, physically flying, and impressed the coaching staff with intensity, tactical discipline, and effort. And the most alarming part, Real Madrid is open to negotiating Mendy. They've already made it known internally that they're accepting offers, but so far, no offers have come in. No club has knocked on the door.
No concrete moves.
The Frenchman is literally in limbo, no rhythm, no space, and no market.
And that's a double problem.
Because the club needs to make room in the squad and lighten the wage bill. And the player in turn, needs to play to maintain market value and more importantly, to avoid becoming a luxury benchwarmer. Mendy's future is completely up in the air. And the feeling is that if nothing changes in the coming days, he could end up spending most of the season on the bench, just as an emergency option. So, Madridista fan, what would you do? Sell Rodrigo?
Bet on Endrick?
Trust that Mbappe and Vinicius will get the job done? Or would you already start thinking about major changes? If you like this kind of content, straight to the point, clear, and with fire in the eyes, subscribe to the channel now, turn on the bell, and share this video with your fellow Madridistas. Because here, we live Real Madrid with true passion. Until the next video, Hala Madrid always.